I am Vinnie Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, just like the beautiful Miss Anna Vocino. Yeah. Yeah, because of what we were talking about right before the mics went hot, I feel like I've become cumbersome.
Well,
to my world and everything around me.
You haven't, but
I'm that way.
But I understand why you chose that song.
Yeah,
and we're going to get into it today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. You know, it was a big secret last Monday, and we're going to break it on this show today. But before we do that, I need to talk about this stuff early because this is going to be a heavy ass show. Yeah. We have a lot of info that we're going to go through. So I'm going to do a little something up front. EatHappyKitchen.com.
Yeah. That's a good website.
Yeah, that is
I'm a fan.
That is not cumbersome right there. That's just yumbersome. You see what I did? Yumbersome.
Wow. Are you a copywriter? Are you David Ogilvy?
This is my second double espresso right here.
I'm so proud of you.
I feel like I'm coked up right now. I've had somebody.
I love it when you're coked up.
I'm doing it with my double French, which I'm pretty sure, and I know it sounds gross, and I'm sorry, folks. I know a lot of religious people listen to the show. I'm pretty sure I have a half an erection right now.
What is it? Our erections not something that the good Lord blessed us all with? Yeah. Our men folk?
Yeah. Well, according to the Seventh-day Adventists, they were not fans.
Oh, they didn't want
no
boners.
No
boners in Loma Linda.
They were trying to figure out how to get less erections, and they came up with dextrinization. That's a true story. That is a true. I am not making up that history, folks. But
was Kellogg a Seventh-day Adventist?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he was one, because I always associated with California.
No, he was a Seventh-day Adventist.
Okay.
And he was up in Dearborn, Michigan, somewhere like that. I can't remember where. But,
like Detroit area. Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit. At any rate, EatHappyKitchen.com, folks. Anna just sent me some. What did you send me, Anna? You sent me a care packet.
What are your two favorite flavors? The pasta sauce.
Arrabbiata and pink crema.
Yeah, that's what you're getting in the mail.
Do I have that coming my way?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'll be needing that next week because I'll be cumbersome to my world and my girl and every other rhyme they got in that song.
Just trying to give you a little bit of ways to make cooking for yourself easier.
It's going to smooth things over for me, Anna.
Yeah.
It certainly will. If you want to be smoothed over, go get Eat Happy Kitchen products. And look, by the way, it's not just the sauces, but they also have the dust.
That's right.
I like to call it angel dust because it just turns everything into, just that's all I can say.
Heavenly.
We're doing right after the mics go cold here.
Yeah.
Because
it's going to be dinner time for you.
Well, yeah, I have another podcast right behind this, like right behind it. And Serena goes, "What are you watching?" I said, "I need quick and easy." So we're doing the taco bowl with Eat Happy Kitchen taco, stuff. And then we put that in the meat and she's going to have the avocado. You see, when I do it, I slice up the avocado. When Serena does it, it's going to be guacamole.
Oh, she goes full guac.
She just goes all the way.
It. So good.
And she'll have all the fresh cheese and the tomatoes diced up and the whole thing. And the Eat Happy Kitchen products make that possible. Go to EatHappyKitchen.com. Check it out. You will not be sorry, folks. So
by the way, by the time this airs through Mother's Day, use the code SPICYMOM10. That's SPICYMOM10. And you get 10% off a spice variety pack if you've never tried one or you want to give one as a gift to your mom or your wife, your sister, your girlfriend, the lady in your life who celebrates Mother's Day. Spicy Mom 10.
Listen, I would be doing that if Anna wasn't sending me stuff for free. I would be doing Spicy Mom 10.
And we don't do coupon codes very often, so take advantage.
No, I was kind of shocked that you said you were doing one. All right, Anna. Let's get the bad news out of the way, if you want to call it bad news.
You know what? Are you sure?
Yeah. Why? Would you like to do it the other way around?
It's up to you. It's your news. How do you want to break it?
What do you think? Should we do the good news first or the bad news?
I think we should talk about the documentary first.
Okay. All right. So the documentary, did I mention the name on last Monday's show?
You did not. You haven't said anything. I'm so excited. Do you have a drum roll set up on the thing?
No, I just got to this. Let's see. No, that's not. No. No. No,
No, don't want that one.
we have the laugh.
I like the chimes. Do the chimes. That's because it's like Vanna White, like revealing the name of the.
Yeah. You know what I could do?
What?
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday 5 o'clock blast off. Have a good weekend.
Okay, we just lost half of our audience. So
we like sound effects.
I've been keeping this quiet, folks. There's a lot that's been going on, and we're going to talk about that later. But I've been keeping this quiet. But I've done yet another documentary, and it's somewhat of a break from. And Anna saw it yesterday for the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love it.
It's a bit of a break from what I've done before. Right. The first was Fat, a documentary showing all what goes on and how we've been lied to. And Fat 2 was just a continuation of that because Fat 1 was one of the best health documentaries of all time. That's not me bragging about that. That's just a fact.
I would say it was the best health documentary of all time.
But, it's the number one
documentary
that was ever put out by Gravitas Ventures, by far. Right. Yeah. And one of their top movies ever. I think at one time it was their top movie ever for a while. So that documentary did well. So we put out the sequel, and then we put out Beyond Impossible, talking about the fake meat industry. That's when, a lot of things happened. Like my Instagram started losing followers, and a lot of mystery stuff started happening.
Controversial.
Yeah. But now I'm going after me and my ilk. Wouldn't you say?
You're going after yourself?
Yeah, I'm going after myself. Is that the best? Because look,
you're going after people in the same space as you.
Okay. Is it safe to say that I'm one of the forefathers of the low carb movement online?
Absolutely.
I think I am. I've been called that from time to time.
1,000%.
So much so that some people don't, they don't know who I am. Like if you mention Jay Leno now, people go, "Who is he?" It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like young people say, "Huh? What?" Yeah. A scant 12 years ago, I started doing this online, and very little was being talked about at the time. And we had probably the first podcast about this subject.
Right.
And started bringing people like the Gary Taubes of the world and the Tim Noakes of the world onto the show. No one knew who those people were.
Right.
Right. So when we did that, the term keto did not exist.
No, not as like a standalone word.
Well, it wasn't a word. Keto is shortened down from ketogenic. And as Anna knows, I refused to put the word ketogenic in my book. And I called it NSNG. I called it low carb. I called it anything except ketogenic. Because,
which, by the way, even back then, I pronounced it ketogenic.
Yeah, the keto diet. A lot of people call it the keto diet.
I used to say the ketogenic.
Yeah. So the reason I never liked mentioning it at the beginning was because I knew everyone would get ketogenic mixed up with ketoacidosis.
And they did. Oh boy, did they?
Oh yeah. Oh,
we got a lot of feedback from folks.
That'll
kill you.
I just had someone. It's not come out yet. I had Caroline Paul on my show. Who wrote a book, and she's Alexandra Paul's twin sister, and she writes several books. She's an incredible writer. But I just read her book, Tough Broad. Anna, you would love that book, by the way.
Great.
And in Tough Broad, we were talking about Kathrine Switzer. I brought up Kathrine Switzer. Back in 1967, they wouldn't let women in this country run marathons. You couldn't run the Boston Marathon. and the reason being is, and doctors were saying this, if women try to run 26.2 miles, their uterus would fall out through their vagina. I'm not making that up.
Oh God.
I'm not making.
Oh.
That's why they cited women were not, no matter what kind of shape they were in, could not run a full marathon because their uterus
It will
would fall out.
detach your uterus and make it.
I don't know. I know that they
How
said,
loose do they think our vaginas are?
well, not your vagina, but your uterus.
I know, but the uterus has to fall through a pretty tight tunnel.
Yeah.
Like we have to have like a room full of people in the room where we're delivering babies. But apparently if we run a marathon, something's just going to fall right out of us.
Fall right out. I'm not making this up. You can go look this up. This was 1966. And
What?
Kathrine,
I thought you were going to say this was 1866.
No, 1960, and Kathrine
Okay.
Switzer in 1967 was the first one. Look up those dates, Anna, because I think it was 67 when she actually ran it. Her boyfriend was like a bodybuilder type. He ran block. Every time they tried to pull her off the course, he would muscle
67.
these people out of the way. So in 1966, it was thought that women's vagina, see if you could find that.
It's 67.
Yeah, but see if you
Yeah.
could find the part about women running in, Kathrine Switzer and the vagina and the uterus. They literally said the uterus would fall out. I'm not, that's what was going on. And 12 years, if that sounds crazy to you, 12 years ago, people would say people like Vinnie are nuts because if you eat a ketogenic diet, you're going to go into ketoacidosis and die.
Right.
Die.
You're trying to kill people.
Trying to kill people. You'd be the best looking corpse in the world. You're going to lose weight and then you're going to die.
Yeah.
That's what people
Sorry.
thought. Right?
Yeah.
So the bottom line is we put out a film, documentary, and it's called Dirty Keto.
Play the music. Play the music.
Wait, you
And
ready?
it's called Dirty Keto. Wait, hold on. And it's called Dirty Keto.
Yeah. You see, that's what you call a pro right there, folks.
Yeah.
So Dirty Keto, which is
And play the applause. Play the applause.
which one is it?
It's called Dirty Keto. We're
Yeah.
going crazy for it.
Yeah, everybody wants it. So what is in Dirty Keto? Well, I got tired, and you guys have heard me yell about this on the show a gazillion times, of going to these conventions. That's why I don't get invited to conventions anymore. Anna's been there where I'll
after
walk the
this.
stage. Like, look, my deal is I don't go to these conventions to get fans and to get likes and to get people,
For
anything.
exposure. You actually
You
go to
want-
help people.
Yeah, you want me at your convention? I don't give a fuck who's selling allulose and stevia out in that area. I'm going to walk on stage and tell the truth. You want me to play ball and come in and start lying to people? That's never been what I do here. When I go to wait, Debbie might be able to use this. Let me get my glasses off.
Oh, yeah, do it.
When I go to a convention, they could be selling all of this allulose and stevia and all this crap, all this keto junk out in the aisles, but they want me to get up on stage and not say anything about it. That's never going to happen. If it's not good for you, I don't give a shit who's selling it. I'm going to tell the truth. That's just the way I roll. Stay motivated.
Good one.
All right. So at any rate, Debbie's going to have a lot of stuff she could pull out of the show because
This is going to be
Dirty Keto.
a very busy show.
So that's what the movie is about. Me telling the truth,
Yeah.
not pulling the punches, just telling the truth. I did a few things in this movie to break from my old movies.
Yeah, talk about that.
Number one, I insert myself more than at any other time. It's basically a monologue.
Yeah, you do talk a lot.
Yeah,
in a good
did
way.
monologue. And as you know, Anna, right off the cuff.
Yeah.
Right. And
So that wasn't scripted.
well, no, I knew where I wanted to go. I knew what the story was. This,
Right.
I had the backbone in place, and then I just talk because I know what I want to talk about. And we do that. I have I have several doctors in it. They come later in the show.
Yeah.
I think people are the GLP-1 conversation by itself is worth the price of admission. Everyone's into this Wegovy and all this kind of stuff. We have Ben Bickman in there saying stuff that you need to hear, stuff he's never said on this podcast, even though he says a lot on this podcast. Dr. Kolodzig is in there talking about, what he's talking about. Mary Newport is in it. We have all of these different people in the documentary. There's a cameo by Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is I'm going after the keto industry. I kept it at an hour. I don't know if you noticed.
I love it. And I think it's very palatable. And I love that you're going after kind of big food too, for trying to capitalize on, as usual, if something's good for you, they're going to figure out a way to monetize it, bastardize it, and feed it back to you, and it'll make you sick. So I like that you went after that. I like that it was an hour. I feel like it needs to be, I loved it so much. I feel like it needs to be like the 101, like if people, let's say people are already fans of this podcast, I feel like this documentary is going to be a really great way to spread the word because it is an hour. It explains low carb. It explains why, the keto crackers and bread and ice cream and stuff might not be the best way to go. And it's a good 101. It's a great 101. And Ben Bickman also too, explaining the Ozempic stuff is priceless.
Oh, and the way he explains it is better than he put it in simple terms that anyone can understand.
Yeah.
And when he talked about how there will be a backlash, and there's already a backlash, but it's only going to get worse. It's just crazy what he's talking about. But the reason I wanted to keep it, most of my documentaries have been 85 to 90 minutes long.
Right. Full feature length.
Yeah. The attention span, I notice when I watch documentaries now, they're coming in at an hour and 40 minutes and 52 minutes. And I went, you know what? When I was making it, I saw one on Netflix about Stallone, and that one came in right at an hour. And I went, you know what? That was the perfect size. I got to get all this information in 1 hour. Right. I can't. So it was
really great.
The other thing, for the first time, before I get Anna's reaction about what she thought, the other thing was, hang on, my thing is falling out here.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Kathrine Switzer, her thing was falling right out.
That's what she said as she was running the Boston Marathon.
Okay, now what were we talking about? I lost my train of thought.
Before I get Anna's reaction to something.
Yeah. We kept it at an hour. I talked about that. Oh, I'm not going with Gravitas Ventures this time.
Yeah, you're distributing this independently, correct?
I myself. And I'm doing that because when you go through a distributor, you got to get attorneys to go through line by line, word by word, everything, and make sure everything is right. Right. So that you don't get sued. But when you go through a big aggregate company like Gravitas, they have their own lines of limitation. And I said, you know what? This is not, when you box, you can have 16-ounce gloves, you can have 10-ounce gloves, you can have 8-ounce gloves. The smaller the gloves get, the more the punches land.
Oh, yeah. Not as much padding.
This is a bare knuckles documentary, right? It's just bare knuckles.
Oh, yeah. And people are not going to like it. Certain people.
No, certain people are going, screw you. It's bare knuckles.
It might be a you'll never work in this town again from some people. Like that kind of a reaction.
Yeah, I'm sure there's people that'll never come on my podcast again because of the documentary. Yeah. Hell, I pissed myself off in some of the cases. I may not show up for my own podcast. So the only place it's going to be at the beginning is on Amazon. Because we're a small independent operation, they will not allow us to do pre-order. But from this date on out, it's going to come out at the end of this month, the end of May.
Do we have a date?
Well, no, that's the other thing. You have to put it in and ask for a date. but it's going to come out
Oh.
by the 30th. It might be a
Okay.
few days before. There's some wonky stuff that they do when you don't go with a big company, right? Amazon is Amazon,
Right.
right?
Oh no, you
So
got to play ball, of course.
as soon as we know it's coming out, I will send it out to. So if you're not on my mailing list at vinnietortorich.com, you might want to consider that. You get on that mailing list. I'm going to have Foxy Hoxie and those people talk about it in the Facebook group. And so I'm going to send out a thing.
Those people. You mean your admins?
Yeah. But they're going to send it out to those
Okay.
people, the Facebook people. I'm going to send it out to the VIP group, and I'm going to send it out to my whole list.
Yeah, I'll
So
send it out to my
everyone will
list
be
too.
getting it at some point.
Yeah.
Right. And Anna will send it out to her list.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michael Greger is going to send it out to his list.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on and on and on. So
don't hold your breath.
So you guys are going to know when it's coming out.
So my question is this. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me?
All I heard was my question is this, and then you.
My question is this, and then you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Is it like, do you know what the fee structure is going to be? Is it a charge to watch it? Is it free for Prime members? Like, how does that work? Do you know?
No, but they make you put a certain price on certain
like a minimum price.
Right. So we're going to try to do for both the sale, it's going to be for sale and for rent.
Oh yeah.
We're going to try to
that's
make
good.
the lowest number they allow us to make it from the get-go, because I want all of our fans to watch it and review it, because that's how you hit that algorithm. Right. You guys it's going to be on one platform, Amazon. I want you guys to watch it and review it right away. Give it a thumbs up, give it a 5-star, whatever. If you think it's a 1-star, maybe don't review it, that kind of thing.
Maybe move on.
Yeah, just move on. And so that's what we're going to do. I will let you guys know what to do when it comes time to do that. But that's coming out. It's called Dirty
so
Keto.
Exciting, and it's so great. You guys want to see this. I'm so glad you've announced it now.
All right. So your reaction, you watched it last night.
I loved it.
Seen a piece of it before.
I had never seen a single thing.
Yeah,
First of all, props to having Anna Vocino in the first 59 seconds appear in it, even though you don't give her a speaking line or anything. I want to thank you for
I know where my bread is buttered.
Picking.
Okay.
Also, too, like I looked decent, like I wasn't making like a human thumb face or anything like that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
No, it was a fantastic documentary. You went after people. You went after the industry. You showed clips of stuff that it made me wonder. I was like, oh, are you allowed to do that? Which I love. I like it when documentaries make you go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's a well-made documentary. So I love it. I think everybody needs to watch it. Like I said, it needs to be like a 101 for low carb, because then the second half is, yes, you do talk to more doctors, but I like that you're explaining the rationale behind low carb and cutting out processed sugars and grains. And I like that. This is why I've always enjoyed working with you, is because you're a voice of reason in a space where people get so ideological, whether you're at one extreme or another, no matter, you know what I mean? People become their diets. And even though NSNG is a lifestyle, it doesn't have to be so ideological. You don't have to preach and proselytize. And I like that you're a voice of reason, and that you even said something we can agree on with the vegans is that whole foods are best.
Yeah.
And I like that you said meat and vegetables can coexist on a plate.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. People, we
voice of reason.
Look, we have some carnivore doctors out there that are now telling people that vegetables are killing you. Yeah. I do not believe that.
Right.
I've been from day one. Go back and listen to phytonutrients. You have them in vegetables. I get it. People I have on this podcast will say that kind of stuff. Yeah. Not on this podcast. I will challenge it on this podcast so they know not to bring that up. But doctors who I agree wholeheartedly with, because I'm a big fan of the carnivore diet, if that's what you want to do.
Right.
I do not believe that a sprig of broccoli is going to kill you.
Right.
Sorry. I just don't. It's a whole food. It's a one ingredient food. It's broccoli. Okay.
I had broccoli and steak last night. I covered that steak with Maldon and barbecue dust, and then I covered my broccoli that I steamed with a bunch of salt and Villa Capelli olive oil. And boy, oh boy, that was a good dinner. And then I was full, and then I didn't need to eat anything until 11 a.m. this morning because I was still full.
Yeah,
I didn't die from the broccoli. I don't know.
We had steak last night and cauliflower, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
Right. We did one steak. You ever do that? The one steak between you get the
when you get a really big one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a
porterhouse is fun because then you're basically splitting two kinds of steak.
Yeah,
between two of you.
Yeah, you get a piece of, and that's why I got it. It was almost an inch and a half, almost 2 inches thick.
Yeah,
it was 1.1 pound, 11 ounces, I think, something like that. I did the math. And of course, the bone comes out. So you probably have 1 pound, 7 or 8 ounces there. Plenty enough steak for me and Serena. And Bonzo got a bone to boot. And everyone's happy. Yeah.
So anyway, back to the documentary. Fabulous work. Love the length. I think everybody's going to love it. If you've been following this podcast for a while, it's just kind of condensing all the truths into the hour. That's why I say it needs to be a 101 for people to watch because they do get confused. I had a lady come up to me at my Gelson's Calabasas demo. I'm sure you remember the Gelson's in Calabasas.
Very well.
Beautiful store. They always put me in the back facing the butter. And this time they had me in front of a Rayo's end cap, which I didn't love.
The bag facing the bathroom.
Well, that was in Santa Barbara. In Santa Barbara, they always put me next to the bathroom. Right. But at Calabasas, they put me facing the butter. And it's really funny to watch people pick earth balance, and very rarely Kerrygold, which I'm like, fine with me because there was a Kerrygold shortage. So it's more for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm back there and a woman comes over and she's, because this is how I get the people in. Would you like to try some no sugar added pasta sauce? Now, there's enough recognition, even though most people do eat pasta, a lot of people are now looking for no sugar added. And so I know that that's like the catchphrase to make people stop and go, oh yeah, I do want to try that. I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking to not add, which is great because when you and I started this podcast, that did not exist. So I get to talking with this lady and one thing leads to another. We're talking about low carb. And then she is bringing over to me the ice cream from the freezer section, the Halo Top. She's bringing me this bread called like the Carbonator or something like that. That's also gluten-free. And I was just like, thank you so much. I'm not going to be like, I don't eat that.
Yeah.
But that's the state of where things are. I don't know her health. I don't know her numbers. I don't know how she feels. She likes eating it. Good for her. But when I see people who are still really sick eating this stuff and then wondering why they don't feel better when they're eating the Franken foods, I'm like, there you go. But it's still very prevalent. And there's a lot of, because Procter & Gamble, Mondelez, Kraft, Unilever, all these giant companies have so many resources. When they see a trend, they will jump on that trend and they could get something on the shelf like that.
They will hammer that trend.
Yeah.
By the way, that's where Tallulah's dad goes, to that particular Gelson's. He does all of his shopping there.
It's a really nice Gelson's.
I'm shocked I didn't see him there.
Yeah.
And look, I even go into the whole certification of keto certification.
Oh, I love that.
The attorneys made me block the faces and the names.
Yeah, on the website.
Yeah. They were like, oh no, you can't show the faces or the names. But you can say what these people do, which is pretty damning in and of itself.
I'm not going to say it. I don't want to give away the one.
Because I think people are going to wait. Really? When you see what's in this thing, you're going to go, whoa, hang on. That can't be real. And when you go look it up, it's real. It's right there. The
certification thing is crazy.
Yeah. You can't make it up.
Oh, I just found out that the rabbi doesn't come to bless the kosher thing. I thought the rabbi came and blessed it when it was being manufactured. Did you know the rabbi doesn't come?
I thought the rabbi just has to go and
the rabbi doesn't go anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know at the salt mines over in Utah for Redmond's Real Salt.
Yep.
Yeah, they said, rabbi came right to where the truck go into the thing and he blessed it and he was in and out. That's what makes
Great.
it,
But that's,
that makes
if I'm
everything
paying for
great.
kosher certification, that rabbi better show up and bless it. Bless it.
Yeah.
Bless it all.
Well, I'm just telling you.
I don't want a rabbi-less kosher certification.
So whether you're buying, and this is a little dirty secret about Redmond's, right? A company that I use in my product.
I love
Ultrasalt.
Redmond's.
Yeah, Redmond's is a
I
good
cook
product.
with Redmond's every day. Redmond's and Maldon every day.
Whether you're buying their kosher salt or their regular salt is all kosher. Because
the rabbi blessed it.
Bless the whole mine, then
She's blessed.
They just go, yeah, it's all kosher. We just put kosher on some of it. Again, folks, sales techniques.
Yeah.
Right? I get what they're doing. Some people think kosher is the same as organic. Or the word organic is a sales technique, right? Like you can get stuff done. Or I know you got to jump through a few organic hoops to get there, but a lot of vegetables that are organic, you could put all kinds of crap on it if the organic stuff doesn't work.
And still call it organic.
You could go look up the FDA and see what they allow for organic.
We were rejected by a grocery store in DC, Mom's Organic Market, because not that everything in the market is certified organic, but they want that particular category to be certified organic, and we can't get it because we're too small. And it would also raise our costs so much that we're already too expensive. So we're like, we're not going to do it. I think we're going to actually do the non-GMO certification, which ironically is the same criteria as organic, but it's easier to get, and it's also easier to like if you're organic certified, you have to only use an organic warehouse.
Yeah.
If you're you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, are all the shipping companies and trucking companies organic? No. Like this doesn't make any sense. So we got rejected for not having the certification, and I would put our ingredients up against any of our competitors any day of the week as being cleaner ingredients because I source them, and but because we can't get the certification, we're out. So be it.
And as you know, once you're in this business and you see what's allowed and what's not allowed and the bullshit that goes on, it's pretty amazing. And that's what I've been bringing to you guys for 11, 12 years now. I will continue to bring that message. Look, I must be impressing someone because, the Mike Rose of the world that normally have people on one time have had me on twice.
Yeah.
I got some bragging now. The Adam Carollas of the world, I think I'm the third most repeated guest ever.
Yeah.
Right. I'm right at 100 times on that show.
Wow.
Like 97.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And, only like 2 or 3 people have been on more than me. And some of them go back to the radio days. They count, when I talked to Giovanni about that, they count the radio days too. I only went on as a podcast. So I might be one of the top podcast guests ever. Right.
I'm sure.
It's because I go on and tell the truth and people appreciate that.
Yeah.
Mike Rose of the world and the Adam Carollas and the Dennis Brink, they all appreciate Dr. Drew when I do his show. They all appreciate someone who's not willing to kowtow to big food or the industry or anything else. Here's the truth. I'm on your side. I'm on the side of the consumer. And because of that, I don't get to make a lot of money because I don't make friends where you need to make friends in order to make money. But that's my chosen path.
There's one guy in the documentary I want to talk to you about after we're on the air because,
What?
I'll talk to you after that. Just you guys have to watch it. See if you can know who I'm talking about.
Anna, send me a message and let me know who you're talking about. Because now I'm curious. I can't wait till the
I'll
end.
text you while you start a Villa Capelli ad.
I'm not doing a Villa Capelli ad yet. I'm talking about NSNG Foods, ultra fat.
Ooh, even better.
Ultra fat. You want 15% off right now. Listen, this product, people go, oh, I'm gonna ride my bike now. I'm out, I'm out and mountain biking.
Is the season.
I'm running. We'll go hiking. I need snacks. That's why I'm giving you guys 15% off at NSNG Foods right now on the ultra fat. Listen, this product is not just a high fat, almost zero carb. It has very few carbohydrates in it. It's protein, it's fat, and it's electrolytes. We have these electrolytes. If you're watching this,
so good.
we have ultra salt electrolytes in the ultra fat. That's why we call it ultra fat. Listen, this company was the title sponsor, along with ultra salt, for the Badwater 135, the toughest race on the planet, for years. Lots of those athletes use this product. You can use it too. This is not a bullshit product. You want 15% off, promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, no wimpy Y. Go to nsngfoods.com, get the ultra fat, 15% off. I'm going to keep this open for a while, but don't sit around and wait, because Chris always tells me this. He goes, we tell people go right now and buy it. They keep dragging their feet and they're going, I wanted to get it. I couldn't get it. You guys shut it down. What are you doing? No, go get it right now. Don't mess around. Okay.
People do get mad. They get very angry.
Speaking of Chris, hang on. Chris is here. Chris, are you there?
Yo.
No, he's on camera now.
Chris,
how you doing?
Hi.
I just mentioned your name and then you showed up as coming in.
It's a bit creepy.
Just Beetlejuiced me into existence. Yeah. And yes, I just made that a verb.
And he turned around 3 times.
Chris, I was just doing the ad. Literally, I said your name and then you showed up. We were doing the ad for the ultra fat, right? And I said, look, folks, we're going to keep this open for a while, but don't wait until the last minute. Don't drag your feet, because what happens every time, Chris, when we shut it down? Everyone calls and says what?
I got an email and it said it was over last night or 3 days ago. And, I've been living in a cave for the last 6 months and haven't seen the 19 emails or 48 podcasts or 37 videos. Can I still take advantage of this deal? And the answer is no, because we have other things going.
But Chris, what if I really want to?
That's why. So, and it's funny because
what if I'm the biggest fan ever? Like I'm biggest
such a fan.
And Vinnie will not like it if he hears that you're not
getting. I listen to Vinnie with a Y and Amy every Monday.
Yeah,
Vinnie and Amy. Yeah, I don't know what podcast Miss Vocino is listening to, but it's definitely not this one. And I think the thing that blows my mind with this is, no matter how many different e-commerce businesses I've worked with, no matter, it doesn't matter the industry, it doesn't matter the business. People wait until the last minute. There's a reason Black Friday sales work. There's a reason that all of these things work.
Yeah,
and it's urgency.
Yeah.
Right. If you give an unlimited time, which Vinnie, I jumped in just in time to hear you say, we're going to just let this run for a while. And I was like, oh God, because if we don't give a timeline, then people just say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Right. And I would love for you to do that. However, they don't. Right. The other thing that drives me a little bit up a wall, and Vinnie, I know you and Andy and I had a long discussion about sending an email 9-10 o'clock before the discount expires. And we didn't want to over email people. And I said, please, can we do it? And there's a couple reasons for that. One, because we're going to see a giant spike in sales, which we always do when that last email goes out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And two, then we get all the people replying to that email saying, hey, I missed it. It's 12:01 my time or whatever. And okay, we actually do let it run for an hour after it's supposed to turn off just to account for those people. But it's funny to see that response. And if you don't send that email, you don't let people know, hey, today is the last day or whatever it is, you lose 30, 40, 50% of the ability for people to actually redeem that promo code.
Yeah.
The other thing, and Anna, I don't know if you've seen this on Eat Happy. Only about 30% of the people use the code. So guys, the code is there. Don't just go to nsngfoods.com and do an order. I love that. Don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah,
anytime you want to do that. But if we have a deal going on, take advantage of it. It's mind-boggling to me the number of people that'll click through the email and then not use the code, or will come from the podcast and not use the code. And if it's there, take advantage of it. We're doing it for a reason, and we're doing it to help get more people on board and get people's cupboards stocked up with the good stuff, rather than the dirty keto stuff.
And
if you love this stuff and you love a discount code, this is the time.
Right. And by the way, we're going to announce in a couple of weeks, it's coming to an end. We're going to give an end date. But I decided, people have been asking me about the product, and, we had a BOGO a few weeks ago. Okay, we'll do this. All right, let's get off of that. Chris, we were getting ready to announce my other news, but Anna was gushing over watching the movie
Yeah,
last night.
it's amazing.
Did you get to see it at all?
I did. I watched it last night, and then I actually listened to it this morning while I was at the gym. So I just threw on the headphones and played it back. It's funny. There's a reason I just said we'd rather fill your cupboards with the good stuff than with the dirty keto stuff. And Vinny, you and I had roughly discussed what the outline of the movie was. Like, I didn't know how hard you were going after people. I didn't know, what was kind of going on there. And it's funny because all of the conversations that I've had around these issues, you covered to a T in the documentary. Even down to the like, hey, would you try out my new awesome keto thing? Maybe. What's in it? Right? Like,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, it's funny because I just got Anna's opinion. She saw it last night too, and she said the same thing. And as I said, I used the term, in boxing, they would always say, all right, these are 16-ounce gloves, 14 ounce, 10 ounce, 8 ounce is about as light as you would ever see. And would you agree that this is my thought? This is a bare knuckles. This is just bare knuckles, right?
Yeah, there's really no holds barred. Even to
you're not making friends. Let's put it that way.
No.
Anna's gonna know what I'm talking about. You guys will know kind of what I'm talking about when you get to see it. But there was a cameo clip from a well-known YouTuber that the first time I actually had a spit take because I said, okay, Vinny's gonna go after some of these people, and then the clip from this famous YouTube person came on, and I went, "Oh, okay, so he's just going after everybody." All right.
Oh, wait, hang on. So I think Anna just sent me that guy's name. To Anna, are you guys? And by the way, you guys didn't talk, right? And we haven't. This is all just candid, and you came up with the same thing.
Listen,
right?
I ask about that. I ask you about that guy off the air all the time because I'm like, he just said this. I texted you and Cotty about it.
Yeah. Look, I nobody was safe. Just nobody was safe in this thing.
Yeah, and it's not to say that there's nothing good that comes out of the places that you attack, right? Like, it's not to say that he doesn't put out any good information or that the other people that you call out don't put out any good information.
Right.
The clips are there to show the hypocrisy that can happen when you're not paying attention to the basic principles, right? And I think you went really hard after the net carbs stuff, which I really enjoyed because it's a conversation, and I know you get the question all the time. If we do a VIP group call, even it'll come up like once a session, right? Once every 2 weeks. Every time somebody asks me about NSNG or somebody asks me about keto, I say, "Oh, what about net carbs?" I've had the conversation with my parents probably 35 times. And you give your position, you give the reasons for it, and then you show the hypocrisy around it and how it's used to game all of the rules, right? If I put 900 grams of sugar in something and then put 899 grams of fiber in it, just load it up with that Metamucil, that psyllium husk, right? Oh yeah, it's 1 gram of net carbs. It's not the equivalent of 3 large Pizza Hut pizzas to your liver at all. No, because it's one net gram of carbs. Does that make sense to anybody? If you think about it that way.
Well, people, look, I have people who have lost as much as 100 pounds or more, 150 pounds in NSNG, but they still have another 100 or so pounds to lose, and they'll do a consult, right? These are people who are able to get 100 and 120, 130, 150 pounds off. And they'll say, then I'm sorry, I still have 75 or 100 pounds to go, and I've stopped dry. And they'll say, I haven't changed. And in their minds, they're not lying to me. They'll say, I haven't changed anything. My carbs are exactly what they were before, identical, exactly. And there's only 2 things. Number one, they're really now overeating fat to some great degree, where calories do begin to stop progress.
Yeah. You can't eat constantly.
Right. Yeah. This is not a license to eat. I'm not giving anyone a license to eat. But the thing that it is almost every time I'll say, all right, take me through your day. And that you'll start hearing things like, keto bread, Atkins bars, this, that, the whole thing, keto pasta, konjac. I start hearing all the things, right? And that's why when people ask me on Twitter, oh, can I have konjac? No, it just doesn't work. if you have it once, yeah, it's a little lower carb than, eating regular pasta or whatever, but you can't start living on that shit because you'll be right back where you were before. Right. And I'm not just going after konjac, but it's all of the net carb stuff.
I'll be curious to hear what people's feedback is, because it does feel like people love to count carbs. And the one thing that you talked about that you said from the beginning that I felt like resonated with me is that you don't have to count. Like you can, if you're eating a whole foods, real food-based diet, you can get to a place where your body will relearn your hunger cues, and you don't need to track and just always be looking out for yourself. You got to watch yourself and count every last thing that goes in your mouth. This is not to say you shouldn't hold yourself accountable, but you don't need to count your macros and all the things and your calories. And to me, that felt like a voice of reason. But there are some people who really do need to do that for themselves. And you're an adult, folks. You get to choose what works for you. Good.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying one way is right or another, but why it resonated with me is because it felt like freedom. Like you were lifting a yoke of counting, which I've been doing since I was 8 years old. 8 years old. Lift the counting away, and let's just be sensible about how we're eating. And that, you mean I can trust my body? But if you do that, if you trust your body, then you're going to see pretty quickly that stuff is the frankenfoods aren't serving you.
Right.
And then those frankenfoods won't sell enough. And then if you don't do net carbs, then where's the industry going to be? You know what I'm saying? They need you to believe in the net carbs in order to buy the products.
Yeah. And
I can't tell you the number of demos that I do about the pasta sauce, and the people come up and they want to know net carbs. And I'm like, well, the only carbohydrates in this sauce is the naturally occurring carbohydrates from the tomatoes. We use organic Italian tomatoes, San Marzano style tomato, and it's sweet on its own. Doesn't need anything added to it, but they want to know, okay, how much is this? And then the calories and the sodium and the thing. And by the way, we have less than half the sodium that Rayo's has because we add the natural sea salt. It used to be Redmond's. Now we had to source up and find a different salt supplier. I love Redmond's though. But it's like they get really keyed into this one thing on the label. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, but this is what part of your work is to teach people that you can go past the label, go beyond the label. What are you actually eating? What's in there?
Chris, what did you think of when I went after the the people who certify keto?
So that's what I was starting to allude to. Before we get into that, I think you went after something that was really interesting, Vinnie, and you were talking about, and it kind of came out of the net carbs thing. And I think it's something that NSNG, the principles of NSNG does really well. The other group who calls this out and helps you avoid that problem is kind of the Whole30 community, where it's like no replacement foods, right? And you were just kind of going there with konjac, where you're like, look, if you want like pasta, make that a life and a living moment. And I think you were talking about all the bastardized keto foods, and you're like, they load it up with all the tols and alls and ithrols and sugar alcohols and all this stuff, and it doesn't even taste as good. Like you end up splattering the bathroom, and you don't get to enjoy the experience. If you're gonna do that, just do it right with the real food version of that, and not the bastardized dirty keto version.
That's like, hard for people to hear. That's hard for people to hear. So I'm excited for people to watch this because it is hard for them to hear. When I was demoing in a chain that we're in Chicago called Fruitful Yield, which is mostly supplements, and then they have like a grocery pantry section, but it's good. But so a lot of the people who walk in there are already people with either food allergies or they're low carb. Like I had a weightlifter come in, a female weightlifter, bodybuilder, and she loves low carb, so she was thrilled to be able to learn about the product. But there are people coming in asking about like, oh, what's your favorite low carb pasta? And I was like, oh, you mean like spaghetti noodles or like spaghetti squash? Because that's my book is coming out, and that's the low carb noodles that I use. I don't use like the konjac or the thing. I have one recipe with the palmini, with the hearts of palm thing, and that's it. And that's made from a vegetable. And so it's people are confused. They're like, what do you like? And I was like, oh, I haven't tried that one. Oh, I haven't tried that one. I mean, good for them if you like it, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't even eat pasta. They look at me really puzzled. And I was like, yes, I understand. It's ironic. I don't eat that stuff, but I sell pasta sauce. I get it.
Anna, you know this because you're in the gluten camp, right? You
Yeah,
have
the
a gluten
gluten-free, the
intolerance.
celiacs of the world.
I will say after having that diagnosis in my early 20s, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just go buy gluten-free pasta. It tastes like hot garbage. I would rather have zucchini noodles.
If
Right?
you
Like,
like glue that's been reconstituted and then also yet at the same time still al dente, if you like the glue that seals the box of pasta,
Yeah.
then you're going to like gluten-free pasta.
it's somehow al dente and also disintegrates
And all,
in your
yeah,
mouth at the same time.
because
And it's just,
gluten holds pasta together and it ain't got
Yeah.
none of that.
it's
Yeah.
just not a satisfying thing. And I'd rather go, the zucchini or the spaghetti squash route after having gone through, I don't know, 50 variations of gluten-free pasta in my early 20s. I can safely say I'd rather just do the Whole Foods thing or know that I'm going to suffer the consequences the next day and have some real pasta. I'll probably make it myself just because I'm like that. And then I can control what actually is in it.
Or, Chris,
But
you can man up and do what I do. Just sausage, meatballs, eggs, just put it in there and then just pour Anna sauce on it, mix it up. Who needs pasta when you can do that?
I'll throw some zucchini in there just so
I
I
feel
can
like
pretend that I
if you're
had
in
a vegetable.
Italy, you can have it.
Why deal with the foreplay when it comes to eating? Just get right down, man. Just go for it.
Well, I'm
So,
really excited for everybody to
certifications.
see this documentary and give the feedback.
Chris, real quickly, because we need to move on and give my bad news out because this show's almost over. It's coming out around the 30th. We can't give an exact date yet, right? We're getting all the stuff in place. Serena's been working on that endlessly, and it's only coming out on Amazon. Anything anyone else needs to know, or
We are going to have, by the time this is out, we'll have a landing page together, and you can correct me on the link if you want to change it. But I was just thinking VinnieTortorich.com/dirty keto, one word. And you can go there to sign up so that we know and can notify you exactly when the pre-order is. Because the way that Amazon works, they give us a window and then they're like, maybe it's in that window. Maybe it's not in that window. Maybe it'll be 10 days before that window. So we have some plans. We have a pretty good idea of when it's going to come out. But when we know exactly what that is, anybody that's on that list will get the early notifications for that. And they'll be able to sign up
we looked into it with my buddy, the other guy we want to talk about. They won't allow pre-orders because we're a small company.
Because you're independent. Yeah.
We're independent. So, all right, Anna, let's do a Villa Capelli ad. While you're doing that, I'm going to sip on some water and we're going to rock and roll give out the bad news and we're going to shut it down.
Sounds good. Chris, are you sticking around?
I'll be here. If you guys need me, I'll just back myself right out of the room.
Yeah. No, I think Chris, you want Chris? Go on, Anna.
Villa Capelli, and he's back. Villa Capelli olive oil, the best olive oil on the planet. You're going to want to have it. You're going to want to have it in your mouth and in your belly. And in order to get it, you need to go to villacapelli.com. And I think if they're still sold out, this episode's airing May 6th onward, 2024. If they're still sold out, make sure you put your email address in the item that you want to order. And then when you get the email notification saying it's back in stock, order it. Order it. Order it. It's high quality oil. They make a limited amount. It's the best olive oil on the planet. They have been sponsoring this podcast, not since the beginning. We've been talking about it since the beginning. And then they started sponsoring us after that. They put their money where their mouth is, and we put their oil where our mouth is because we love it so much. Yes, Chris, it makes sense. Follow my logic.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE. You'll get 10% off your order each and every time you order. We always advise to get your cart size around $145 so that when you use the discount code Vinnie, you still qualify for the free shipping, which I believe the threshold is $125 or more. You get free shipping. Very important because it's expensive to ship oil. And we want you to have that oil. And I highly recommend getting the 3-liter tin and a 750 milliliter bottle, or just get 2 3-liter tins. You will use it. Villa Capelli. All right, Vin, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's drop some bad news.
Yeah, bad news. So you know how I despise, well, Chris, maybe you know this. I hate when I go online and I see people in the hospital with the stupid hospital cap on and the gown doing the thumbs up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't like the thing from the hospital where people are going, "Hey, I'm in the hospital. Give me some pity bumps," you know?
Yeah, it's not your style.
Yeah, that's not my deal. That being said, I've said from day one that I would be absolutely transparent on this show. Now, I know politicians say this all the time on the right and the left. We're going to be transparent.
Guess what? You're not a politician.
While they're doing that, right? But I've always said that I would be completely transparent on the show. Now, when I got my cancer back in 07, and it was cleared up by early 08, Chris, get ready to do some math. They told me anywhere from 4 to 5 years. If I made it 6 years, consider that a big victory, because the type of cancer I have, remission meant that they knocked it down to a level where it couldn't even be seen in my blood, and all my blood work would show normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I made it past 5 years. I made it past 6 years. I made it past 10 years. So 08 from 24, that's what? How many years is that? 17?
16.
Well, I got cancer in 17 and I was done.
07. Yeah. Okay. So 17, 16, 17 years.
Yeah. By September of 07. So in early 08. So it's 17 years.
17. Yeah.
Great.
If you do the math. And I made it that long. And then this time around, I got the cancer back. Yeah.
Wait, aren't you supposed to play or?
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I got the cancer.
That's it. That's the correct sound effect for cancer.
Folks, I'm begging you. Please don't give me the, I don't know. I don't like the pity bumps online.
So can you tell us, because I'm sure everybody wants to know, what is your course of treatment? What did your doctor say? What's the prognosis?
Yeah, I have a brand new doctor because I live in a different place. Of course, they went back to my old records and my old doctor, and they talked and the whole thing. With this type of cancer, the chemo that worked before should work again.
Great.
Okay, so that's the good news. The other even better news is that I'm going to be taking, and this plays into with Dr. Thomas Seyfried, who was just recently on the show talking about this. It's what he was saying from the beginning. Eating low carb may not make your cancer go away, or it doesn't mean, but if you do end up with cancer, you would take just a fraction of the chemo that it would take for anyone else. And sure enough, that's the case here. They've caught it fairly early. It's not, I'm not in dire straits like I was the last time, where it was like you may die here.
Because they caught it really late.
Yeah,
you were first diagnosed in 07, right? Like you were pretty advanced.
They couldn't believe I was riding a bike. It was like, we don't understand how you're walking type of. People always say that. The doctor said this is the worst thing they've ever seen. I really did get that kind of thing, right? So they've caught it early enough to where I won't have a PICC line in me 24 hours a day.
Right.
Last time I had a PICC line. The PICC line, it goes up through your arm and into your chest, and I'm going to go in every day for like 8 or 10 days or something like that. And then I'm going to get a drip.
An infusion?
My arm, an infusion.
Okay.
For a couple of hours every day. So I'll have the rest of the day to hang out and do whatever I want. I'm asking the doctor if I can do some light exercise during that time. You can't stress yourself.
Yeah.
I was supposed to come out to California to do some promo on a lot
for
of
the documentary.
podcasts.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to change it. So far, the Adam Carolla show has changed theirs too. I get to sit here because even after the chemo, I can't be out in public.
Yeah. And that's because of the immune system thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to be real careful not to contract something.
Blah, 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 that for like 5 or 6 weeks, I can't really be around other people.
Okay.
right? I got to wash my hands a lot. They give you special stuff. The kind of
Yeah.
stuff people doing during COVID, I have to do that for reals, right? And like, I'll slather myself
Yep.
up because my immune system is going to be really compromised for a while.
You got to
so
do the thing where you wash your vegetables too.
I may go off of eggs because of the avian flu being out there, even though I'm
Yeah.
cooking the crap out of my eggs right now. I'm going to be cooking my meat. I eat meat very, very rare. And sometimes
You're going to have to cook it through.
Yeah, I'm going to have to eat cooked through food. Not the worst deal in the world. I just have to cook the crap out of food. I can't get sick, right? No. Gina Grad's dad had the same cancer I had. The guy was in amazing shape and he got an infection. He died, right? That's the biggest problem with this is that.
Yeah.
And look, I have my archery in the backyard. If I want to get out and go shoot some archery, I got my work. I'm going to try to keep working through the whole thing. So it's not going to be a bad deal. Don't cry for me, Argentina. This is not bad. I'm going to make it through. But I always said that when it comes back, so it's 17 years, I'm taking a portion of the amount of chemo I took the last time to beat it back. And
you're going to be
the biggest
coming
thing
back fighting ever.
I was taking a trip down the Colorado River this month. That's what I was supposed to be doing. And even like Leona, who works behind the scenes, she scheduled a trip at the same time, right? So she's, and I was going to be going on Colorado River. She was going to go. Leona writes all the show notes for the show. Turns out I had to cancel that trip. I won't be able to get in a kayak or do anything like that because if I get dumped in the water, I could get water in my mouth. I could die from that. So that's it. Yep. I just have to kind of be in bubble wrap for a while, which is for me very, very difficult. And like I said, I asked if I can work out. The nurse said, you definitely can't go to a gym. I said, well, I have a gym in my house. And she goes, we're going to discuss that with the doctor to see what you can do.
Well, you and I are going to check in next week and probably do an episode midweek.
Yeah.
And so you can give an update on how you're feeling, what the doc said.
Mm-hmm.
And
by the way,
keep people posted because I think people are going to be wanting to hear your story and your journey, and they're going to be, sending you love and support and wanting to know that you're okay.
Yeah, maybe I can use this as a sympathy thing to get people to buy my movie. It's like, you're going to die. Buy my movie.
Yeah, you definitely should say that. Yeah. By the way, we're all going to die. So can we all say that? I'm going to die. Buy my fill in the blank?
Yeah, I got the black lung pops. And look, that's the reason. Look, last Monday, the show sounded, I told them to leave everything into the show. It sounded convoluted because Anna didn't even know about my mom.
No, I knew about you.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about your mom. And then I was like, wait, what?
And
there's too much going on.
I didn't care about me.
Right.
I was worried about my mom dying. I'm not trying to be dramatic here. I mean, she's an 83-year-old woman on a pacemaker. And I didn't know if I was going home for a surgery or a surgery and a funeral. I'm just going to be honest. And that's what was on my mind to the point where Anna didn't even know that my mom had gone through surgery because I couldn't even utter those words to Anna, who is one of the few people I actually talk to.
Yeah. You tell me all this stuff. And so that's why I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I thought I told you, but apparently I didn't. And so that's what was weighing on my mind. And as of this recording, my family still doesn't know. Only one of my brothers. You have
to tell them before this airs.
Yeah, only one of my brothers know because I was staying at his house and he goes, hey, you're going down the Colorado River, right? And I was like, yeah, about that.
By the way, Vinny, when you first told me, you were like, well, I have this trip, so I'll probably start chemo after the trip. And I was like, well, what if you didn't do that and you started the chemo right away? Well,
it came to light that, this trip, there won't be any cell service. And the only way because I could get one of these phantom illnesses where I'm just really, the only way to get you out is an emergency. They have like a
They
ham
have to
radio.
airlift you.
You
Yeah.
they gotta find me with a helicopter in that
Yeah,
canyon,
no.
in the Grand Canyon somewhere. And I started thinking, it's like, man, that's gonna not just fuck up my trip and my best friend in the world's trip, Jim, but it's gonna fuck up everyone else's trip. And the doctor was like, well, do you feel like you're strong enough? And I'm like, yeah, I do, but I'm going to be out in the middle of nowhere. And that time of year is cold and wet and the whole
It's
thing.
almost like if you didn't have the diagnosis, you would have gone on the trip. And if something had happened, it would have been a shock. But now that you know, you don't want to like tempt fate.
I really couldn't. Couldn't. I had to go on this chemo as soon as possible.
Well, so let me ask you this, because I'm trying to think of the questions that people will have as they're listening to this. Are you symptomatic right now? Do you feel bad? How do you feel physically?
Yes and no. I don't feel bad. But I started noticing 6 or so months ago when I did hard efforts on the rowing machine, on the spinner, hard efforts wore me out for the rest of the day. I was able to, kind of get a hard effort.
Fatigue.
I would get fatigued very easily. I knew something was wrong. So when the blood test came back and my blood was whacked out,
and then you did the bone marrow biopsy after that, right? I'm just filling everybody in. Yeah.
Yeah. This time, by the way, people are going to ask, let me answer. I did not have any, this was the first bone marrow biopsy I had where there was any kind of painkiller used. Remember, I did them cold turkey, all the other ones. I think I've had 4 of them cold turkey. This time, these people don't know me here, right? And I was like,
they don't know what you're capable of.
You don't know me.
It's like they go, no, we can't do that. It's like I famously wrote about this. No, I didn't say that.
I'm well known for my spinal tap aplomb.
Do you know who I am? Do you know about my spine?
I even brought a bullet. I'm gonna bite this bullet like John Wayne, and you just go in.
Takes his belt off.
Yeah.
All right, Stonewall, calm down.
Yeah. So she put a little lidocaine right there and the whole thing. And she went in and she goes, all right, now I'm going to cut the little incision. I'm like, hey, like, just do it. She goes, no, people get really nervous about this. I went, you're good to go. And, she goes, and then this other nurse walked in. She was and she was like grinding in there. And she was like, wow, he's not moving at all. She's like, no, he doesn't seem to feel the pain. And I'm like, this is no pain. You lidocaine me up.
Right.
I didn't feel anything.
Great.
At all. And all I
Vinnie, you deserve that. You deserve to not have another no painkiller spinal tap. Okay.
Yeah.
You've earned it. You've earned the pain-free spinal tap.
So they're going to have to do one in about a month or two, whenever, the chemo, to make sure it's all clear. But
okay, so that was my next question. So you do the chemo, stay out of trouble with your microbes, and then they run the blood and then do another spinal tap just to see that if it's been reversed, or how does that work?
It's not a spinal tap, Anna. It's not.
I call it a spinal tap.
Yeah, it's a bone marrow biopsy. They go into your hip bone. Yeah,
a hip tap.
Yeah, hip tap.
You're doing a little hip tap.
I saw your hand go up.
Oh no, spinal tap.
Shit sandwich.
Yeah.
Best movie ever. Okay. So what happens? So they test you again after a certain amount of time, and they see if the numbers have receded. What's the word? Remissed.
Yeah. They want to see if it knocked you back into remission. Of course, if it doesn't, then you have to go through another round.
Another round of chemo. Okay.
I would rather them go through 2 rounds of chemo. I know that sounds like, oh, geez. I'm glad that they're putting in a fraction of the amount of chemo I took the last time.
Right.
Which, folks, that's a testament to the way I've been living for the past 17 years. I went way past my due date, and the doctor's going, we're just going to give you a small amount. I think we can knock this back. Right. So
great.
What Thomas Seyfried is talking about, and by the way, I knew about my diagnosis when I was talking to Thomas a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything about it, but he was saying exactly what I already knew. And I was like sitting there going, yep, you're absolutely right. Right. So there you
And
have it.
how is Serena's mindset? How's she doing?
I think she gets a lot of money if I die. So no, she's
No, I worry. Listen, I've had enough of cancer for this past year. I'm done. I'm done
my
with
mom
you,
died of
cancer. Get out of here.
Yeah, my mom died of it. She doesn't know your brother-in-law, but
Her mom died of it.
Yeah, Serena's mom.
Okay, you just said my mom died of it.
No, Serena's mom died of
yes.
it. We just went through that.
Like we're breaking some other news here.
Yeah, I know.
Serena's mom died.
Murray's good.
My mom just went through. My mom's brother just died last year. My brother just went through colorectal cancer. He's on a colonoscopy bag for that bag for the rest of his life. Cancer's just been all around us.
Yeah.
And here I come. And she didn't go through it. We met. We got together after my last cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Like right when I was able to go out again and be out in the world.
You're like, I'm gonna go get me a Bond girl. YOLO.
Fuck it. Where are the Bond girls?
Yeah.
Where are they hanging out?
You've earned one.
Look, I got a 5-year clock. I'm not messing around anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to get some of that Bond girl stuff over here. So, yeah. So there you have it.
Well, keep us posted. I'm sorry that you have to go through this, but honestly, I know you're going to kick its ass.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I just need to, keep my nose clean here and make it happen. And on that note, we're going to call it a day. Folks, we talked about eathappykitchen.com. Go check that out. Don't forget UltraFat and NSNG Foods, 15% off, promo code Vinnie, and also Villa Capelli. And rate and review this podcast. Look, I got cancer, so give me a pity review. Come on, some of you vegans. I'm gonna milk this cancer for a while, Anna. Give me a pity review, folks.
Okay.
And you can write in there, hey, I'm giving him 5 stars because I pity the fool.
I was gonna give him 4, but
yeah, but he's got the
cancer. So
cancer.
Not butt cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. We needed that.
No, that was my brother with the butt cancer. All right. So on behalf of Chris Shaffer and I was going to say Serena Scott Thomas, Anna Vocino.
And also Serena Scott Thomas.
And Serena Scott Thomas. My name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with this lady right here.